If you ever walk across a perfectly manicured lawn and hear whispers that don't belong to the wind, don't stop. If shadows move against the light of the street lamps in a pattern you can't explain, don't look too closely. And if the grass beneath your feet seems to shift as if it's alive, maybe it's already too late. I moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood last fall. The houses were neat, the lawns well kept, and everything seemed peaceful. But the lawn behind my house was different. It stretched far beyond the property lines. Neighbors avoided it. Even the local kids whispered that something weird happened there. The first night, I stepped onto it, flashlight in hand. The grass was soft, almost unnaturally green, and the air smelled faintly of wet earth and decay. I laughed at myself for being nervous. Then primera vez hablo italiano. A faint shimmer at the edge of my vision. Something moving between the grass. I blinked. Nothing. Maybe I imagined it. That night, I set up a small camera to record the backyard. I wanted proof the next day, just to calm myself. But when I checked the footage, the screen was black from the moment I turned it on. Maybe it was a glitch. Sleep deprivation can do strange things. I told myself it was nothing. A week later, I was cutting the lawn when I noticed the pattern of the grass. It wasn't random. Lines, circles, strange geometric shapes, almost like symbols. I crouched closer. The shape seemed to shift slightly as I moved. I could have sworn the lines formed letters that vanished when I tried to read them. At night, I heard footsteps across the lawn. Soft, measured. They never seemed to come from the street or from the house. Just the lawn itself. I went to my neighbors. None had noticed anything. Some srushte, some looked uneasy. The most I got was, some people just don't like that lawn. I knew that wasn't it. Something was wrong there. One evening, my dog ran into the yard. He usually stayed close, but that night, he barked and growled at something invisible. I ran after him, flashlight cutting through the dark. He stopped at a spot where the grass was flattened, but there was no one there. The flattened grass formed a perfect circle. I stepped closer. The hairs on my neck stood on end. I could feel it. Something. Watching. Maybe it was just my imagination. The next morning, I checked my camera. The footage was corrupted. For hours, it showed nothing. Then, at 3:10 a.m., the timestamp showed movement. A shadow crossed the lawn. Tall, humanoid. But wrong, somehow, it didn't move like a person. It floated just above the ground. I could barely make out the shape of limbs. Some say it was a glitch in reality. Maybe it was never meant to be understood. I don't know what it was. I tried to ignore it, but the footsteps returned. Every night, they grew closer to the house. The grass would flatten in strange patterns. Sometimes it spelled out letters. Other times, shapes that looked like eyes staring up at the windows. One night, I followed the shapes across the lawn. They led to the back corner, where the grass was wet and black. I paused. The air felt heavy. The shadows thickened. Then I saw a figure, standing in the corner of the lawn, tall, thin, unmoving. I froze, my heart pounding. My flashlight flickered. The figure didn't move. It didn't blink. It just watched. I ran back inside, locked all doors. Windows closed tight, but at 3:10 a.m., I heard it. A soft rustle of grass, a low, whispered breath. I checked the lawn the next morning, no footprints, no figure, nothing. Days later, I caught movement in the camera. Again, 3:10 a.m., the same humanoid shadow crossing the yard, but it seemed faster, more intentional. I tried inviting friends over. They refused, claiming they had dreams about the lawn, dreams of figures standing silently, watching. One neighbor disappeared last month. No one saw him leave. The only clue was a flattened circle of grass in the backyard. Much like the others, some places are better left unexplored. Maybe some questions aren't meant to be answered. I still don't know what I saw. I've started sleeping with the lights on, avoiding the lawn at all costs. Even cutting the grass feels wrong now. The shadows are unpredictable. The shapes keep changing. Every night, The lawn grows larger, as if it's spreading. I've recorded audio. I've recorded video. Most of it is corrupted, scrambled. Unexplainable, I asked the neighbors. Some refuse to speak about it. Some say it isn't real. I tell myself that too. Maybe it's paranoia. Maybe it's exhaustion. But then, I hear it. Footsteps across the lawn at 3:10 a.m. Soft, deliberate, just out of reach. Some people who enter the lawn never come back. Some have been missing for years. No one could explain what happened. The patterns in the grass seem almost intentional. Sometimes, if I watch closely, they form letters. Other times, shapes that look like eyes staring back at me. I've stopped trying to understand. I just avoid it. Stay indoors after dark. But curiosity is hard to kill. Sometimes I peek out the window, and the shadow is always there, at the far end of the lawn. Watching, waiting. Maybe for me. For now. I only tell this story to warn you. Never walk alone on that lawn. Some places are better left unexplored. If you made it this far, comment 310 below. Share this story with someone who lives near a quiet lawn. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Unblinking for more stories that haunt long after midnight.